DJ Akademiks reveals why Jay-Z and Drake hate each other.
Jay-Z calls this nigga up and basically says, bro, why you going so hard for Drake though? Like, yo, what's up with you? Like, yo, let Kung Fu Kenny do his thing. Now, I'm not even going to get into some of the obvious here. Like, bruh, sound like collusion to me. Kendrick later performs in the Super Bowl. Like, come on, bro. Like, we could really get into this whole thing. Me personally, I think Jay-Z never fuck with Drake after Drake dipped out on him. Like, Drake was the only person, the only artist. You see Nicki right now salty. Like, oh my God, I signed up. I signed a letter to be on the board of Tidal or whatever, and I never got no money. You got all the money, and you're. That's kind of what happened. I told you, like, Jay-Z finessed everybody. It's like, no, this is for the artists, by the artists. Look at all these artists. They're co-owners. Jay-Z took all the money, bro, and dip on these niggas, man. Fuck y'all niggas, man. Yo, it's The Rock, homie. Fuck y'all niggas. He wanted to bring Drake over there. Man, Drake Jewish, man. Let's keep it a bean, man. Drake was like, man, I ain't coming over there. Nigga, like, yo, Drake probably had his lawyer. Probably even have his lawyers. Drake probably read that shit himself. Like, yo, who gonna buy into this fuck shit right here? I'm Jewish, gang. I'm not coming over there. Yo, Apple, what's cracking, nigga? He took more money and went to Apple. Feel me? Jay mad. Like, yo, what's up with this fuck nigga? Hey, yo, Meek. Yo, get at that nigga real quick. I really don't think I think he supported Meek, but I don't think he's the reason why Meek went at him. Anyway. But Drake ain't fuck with him since. And I think Jay ain't fuck with Drake since, and Drake ain't fuck with him since. I think they kind of was realizing what it was and kind of feeling it out. And I think Drake thought that was a move of Jay-Z sending Meek at him when it was the song. That's why he did Charged Up. Remember, that's why he did back-to-back afterwards. Because he didn't really, if you listen to Charged Up, remember, this is the same year he fucking introduced Apple Music. He turned down a deal with Tidal.
What's up, words? Your boy Charles Brown back again talking facts. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe. Hit notification bell. Keep sending those cash outs to CLBMG. Join that membership. And all you buying that merch down below. Gang, listen. Before we get started, I need you to go down in that description. Hit that Temu link. You know you shop on Temu. Use my link to do it. Gang, Akademiks is really, we take Akademiks with a grain of salt. 9 times out of 10, Akademiks is just blustering and just making a whole lot of noise just to fill that time that he's on live 2 and 3 hours a night, just trying to make some noise and keep up with these young boys, these streamers that's already eating up that lane. So what Akademiks is doing right here is doing a whole lot of speculating and swelling. But what we do know about Akademiks, every now and then, Akademiks might be right. He may be onto something. And he listed 3 events that happened with Jay-Z and Drake, because you know there's been tension for a long time. Even before the events that he said there's been tension for a long time. Your boy already told you your idols become your rivals. He's been feeling like these guys been trying to take him out for at least, 10 years. I want to say, like, this guy been going on a rant and a mission to tell you that there's so much inner hate inside the industry and the game. Everybody's out to get him, to the point his fans have hook, line, and sinker believe that everybody, including Jay, is out to get him. Well, Akademiks, in one of his drunken, rambling stupors, he actually came up with something that's kind of plausible to me, and I do want to discuss it because there's some merit to this. It may be some merit, and we could talk about it. The 3 events, and I'm just going to be honest, they do kind of line up in a way to a certain degree. I want to read this article on hotnewhiphop.com, but the 3 events are, one of them was Tidal. Remember when Jay-Z brought everybody into Tidal? All these artists were going to be independently part owners of Tidal. It was going to be the greatest thing. It was going to be higher wages for artists and better pay and all this shit and this, that, and the third. And we as fans, we fed into it. We started paying, I started paying $15.99 of all fucking things to own Tidal, and it's supposed to have a crisper, cleaner sound, right? Supposed to have this high fidelity and all this shit, and I was paying for Tidal, and for a time it was good. I fed into it, and all these it was ridiculous, but a lot of art, all these artists, Madonna and this different artists came out and started declaring their love and their loyalty to Tidal, not only to have Jay-Z sell it a few years later when all these questions came up about fake numbers and fake streams and all the questionable practices over at Tidal. Jay-Z ended up just selling it, cut his losses. And you guys know on this channel, I do, to a degree, I am very pro Hove, but if you have any criticisms about your a person you revere, you do have you do have to have something that they haven't done right. So Tidal was one of my biggest critiques of Jay-Z, and I've said it for years. If you go back on my channel, one of the critiques I did have of Jay-Z for pumping up Tidal to us for this, it was supposed to be this independent merger that was going to move the needle and make the streaming platforms better for all artists. Then he went on to sell it to the guy who owned Twitter. We saw that in real time, and I actually canceled my subscription once I heard he was selling it. I always tell you all the time, these millionaires and quote unquote billionaires, they buy low and sell high, and Tidal, along with what Swizz Beats and Timbaland did with Versus, they sold that as well. They get the culture to buy into something and they sold it. Well, one of my critiques with Jay-Z was the Tidal, but one of the three of the things that Akademiks is saying is Tidal was one of the events, the main catalyst that made Drake and Jay-Z start to drift apart, right? Then somehow he believes that Drake feels that Jay-Z sent Meek Mill out to diss him. He think that Jay-Z was behind it. You know, these conspiracy theories. And the third thing is that Jay-Z put Kendrick on the Super Bowl. So those are three different events that could lead to some ill feelings, right? Some ill will, right? So at the end of the day, there is some merit to this conversation. I want to talk about it. But there's an article on hotnewhiphop.com that breaks down the live stream that Akademiks actually had where he spoke on this. And believe it or not, every now and then Akademiks will be on to something and he will say something that kind of smell right. So let's talk about it. Let me read this article and we're gonna have this conversation. All right, I'm gonna interject when I think that something's weird. But DJ Akademiks breaks down why he thinks Jay-Z and Drake started beefing by Gabriel Braz Navarez. Although Jay-Z and Drake collaborated in the 2020s decade, DJ Akademiks thinks the root of their fallout happened much earlier. Now, you got to understand, this is the first thing. You can pinpoint these records that these guys have done. A lot of people do records, and you found out later that they really wasn't on the same page. You can mail somebody a record, right? You can email. We've been emailing people records since the 90s. It don't mean that we rocking with you really tight. Most of the time, you think a person won't get in a collab unless they rock with it. But sometimes there's such a political environment with this hip hop. Sometimes you will do the record just for peace, to keep the peace, to keep up appearances that you guys are still cool, to not let on that there's an issue, even when they say keep your enemies close, right? So at the end of the day, the worst thing you could do is turn down a feature when you got real odds with a person, because then they start to suspect that there's an issue. So maybe these features we saw Jay give, it always, I don't know about you, but they always felt, it was like, every single one game, it felt like there was tension. It's like when they first started working together, it was like, okay, yes, I'm happy that he did it. And after a while, it was always, yo, don't they got like a little something? It's kind of weird. Hov jumped on his record. And as time went on, it always felt just a little bit more awkward. Like, yeah, the sound is, the sonically is good and they seem to be cool, but you always were like in the back of your mind, didn't XYZ just happen and these two dudes are not that good right now? And it would always seem through thick and thin, Drake would be over there writing for Beyonce and Jay would through thick and thin come out of nowhere and do some random feature. But Drake's albums were really big moments in time when they came out. So Hov, you got to understand, Hov is an opportunist as well. This guy knows, okay, I get it, that it's whatever behind the scenes, but at the same time, I am a guy that wants to stay relevant. Regardless of what they tell you, Hov, just like everybody else, needs to stay relevant. So a Drake feature at the time, yes, he's doing him a favor, but at the same time, you're locking back in with a whole new demographic. So don't ever let these people fool you that these features are like these, like, oh my God, like, yeah, they choose to do them, but they choose to do them strategically. Okay, so them features weren't always happy-go-lucky. I love this guy. It was like, okay, I'm gonna do it in spite of. So end of the day, we could say they did collab in the 2020s, but it was always kind of like, it was like, it felt like a little touch. It was a tension in the air with them, with all of them features. But let me continue. I went off on a tangent. DJ Akademiks recently went on his live stream to react to Michael Eric Dyson's recent revelations about a conversation with Jay-Z. For those unaware, Jay-Z privately disagreed with the author's take that Kendrick Lamar unrightfully questioned Drake's blackness during their beef, which he didn't. He didn't question his blackness. He reminded Drake that Drake questions his own blackness. It wasn't about, I don't think you're black, because he told him that his son's a black man. So it was never that, I don't think you're black. He said, you feel you're not black enough. It's two different things. It was a rap battle, gang. I keep reminding people that they were actually in a rap battle. So he was using his weaknesses against him, his perceived weaknesses of feeling inadequate about his own blackness, which he's said on several occasions, and he said in his own record where he said, I'm light skinned, but I'm still a dark N-word. That is a confession of you feel inadequate about your light skinnedness, and you're saying I'm still dark. I'm with what's up, guy. I'm still down with you guys. So that was his own inadequacy. So Kendrick never questioned his blackness. He never said you're not black. But let me continue. As such, Act took advantage of the opportunity to speculate about Drizzy's supposed beef with Hov. It ain't a supposed beef. Now, some of you guys are better historians when it comes to Drake, per se, because there was a time I was almost checked out of Drake. I'm just going to be honest. I learned more about Drake after this battle than I ever knew. I'm just going to be honest. For a while, I got tired of arguing about it. I got tired of saying, bro, he don't write his raps. Why you keep putting him in the conversation with real rappers? You're making lists with Jay-Z, Nas, and fucking Drake. I never understood that. And I used to get into the biggest arguments. So after a while, I started seeing that, Challz, is nothing you could do. Right? You can argue on Twitter, you can argue on YouTube, you can argue all day. This is happening. This is a thing, right? We saw him get exposed for ghostwriting. Didn't matter. This is a thing. He's not from here. He's from somewhere else. He has none of the trappings that we had to grow up with, none of the struggle. He doesn't act like any of us. He kind of mimicking this, that, and the third with these other artists. You can see I can just go down the list, right? This is why I would never seriously debate a Drake fan, because fundamentally the argument, you can't win an argument just based off the foundation of the argument where it starts. So right there, you can't win a rap argument about Drake, because we're going to start at the foundation where it began, and right there is you're already lost before it even starts. So end of the day, that's where it starts at. So I used to always get in these conversations about, bro, this is a guy that he really is like almost mimicking us to a degree, and I got tired of arguing about it. So I checked out. So you guys can tell me why it always felt that there was always this tension in the air with these two, and it always felt like it was almost like the apprentice was always trying to take out the freaking master of this. I don't know if you know, like I got Star Wars on my wall back there, so I'm a crazy Star Wars fan, and in the Sith, right? The Sith have can be two Sith at a time, and there's a master and an apprentice. And the apprentice job, as long as he's an apprentice of a Sith Lord, he has to, at some point, when he feels he learned everything that he learned from him, he has to kill his master. So at some point, like when you see Darth Vader in the Star Wars trilogy, he at some point was destined to kill the Emperor, because that's what Sith Lords do. To become a Sith Lord, you have to kill your master. So it seemed like Drake was always trying to kill his master, and that was Jay-Z. But Jay-Z was like, not yet, young Padawan. Like, I'm not going nowhere yet. So at the end of the day, you could try to kill me, but you better not miss it. It always felt like he was always like edging to do something, but he was scared to pull the trigger, low-key. I'm going to be honest. So I never understood the full dimensions of I said all that to say, somebody could get in the comments and say, well, it was Hov did this, Hov did that, or Jay-Z or Drake, but it always just, I don't remember everything, but I remember that these two always had some kind of friction. Okay, I said all that to say that, but let me continue. That's supposed, this is back to the article, that's supposed to be beef because they collaborated on Love All on the Six God's 2021 album Certified Lover Boy. Yes, he was on there. It wasn't one of them, and I like some of the Jay-Z joints. That was not one of my favorites. I'm just going to be honest, right? However, Akademiks thinks that these two artists' tensions go way back and that things haven't been the same since around 2015. It's a long time ago, okay? That's 11 years ago. So these guys been at odds since then, but let's talk about it. As caught by DJ Akademiks TV on Instagram, he posted that Jay's caping for Kendrick in a collision-like manner due to the Super Bowl connection. Act theorized that the Rock Nation mogul hasn't messed with the Toronto superstar ever since the boy excused a Tidal deal with the Brooklyn MC in favor of launching Apple Music in 2015. Now, we all remember that Tidal deal. We all remember that. We saw these people come out, and if I'm not mistaken, I thought Drake was one of them, but apparently he wasn't. So maybe, you know how you remember things a certain way in your mind, and that wasn't it, right? Like, I forgot what they say, that everybody thinks that it's a certain movie, the Genie movie that came out. They swear that they saw Shaq in this movie, and they're like, bro, that never happened. But it's millions of people online that swear they seen this movie, the Genie with Shaq and that, and they're like, there is no movie, right? So end of the day, I don't know if there's a movie or not, but end of the day, they say that that's what you have when you think that something happened and it didn't. I thought that Drake came out on that Tidal deal, but let me read this and finish this up, because what happened in 2015, right? I brought it up, like, what happened with that Tidal deal? Where was this? Where did we get with this Tidal deal with Jay-Z and Drake? That made Drake never come out. So let me read this. I looked it up. And I said, how much did artists have to buy into that Tidal deal? And it told me they didn't buy in nothing. Jay-Z just started this and gave everybody a shot. The 15 artists who joined Jay-Z's Tidal in 2015 did not pay to buy in. There was no buy-in, wasn't no $1 million, da-da-da. So she wants all his money back. Nicki Minaj says Jay-Z owes her all his money because they used their cachet as artists. They gave them, they didn't pay nothing. They didn't come out their pockets for nothing. But let me continue. They were gifted roughly 3% equity stakes in the company in exchange for exclusive content to help launch the service. These artists, including Beyonce, Rihanna, and Kanye West, were brought in to compete with Spotify and Apple Music. Remember, Jay gave us this whole spiel that you'll rather give your money to them and not us, like the black machines. You won't. If a black guy comes and tell you that he owns something, you would rather go to the white guy and pay him. You won't buy Diddy Ciroc. Remember that? This is before Diddy. This is before a lot of things went down. So he was telling us, he was shaming us that we wouldn't buy Diddy Ciroc. But most was if you went to a club, you bought Diddy Ciroc. But he was trying to tell us you would rather give that to the white man than give it to me, or give it to Rihanna, or give it to Beyonce. So he came with this whole spiel, and it was going to be better for everybody. Remember they was putting all them exclusives? Remember you had to have Tidal to hear the new Kanye, Life of Pablo. You couldn't hear Beyonce's Lemonade was on Tidal for a long time. You couldn't hear that shit a couple weeks, months, or whatever. Imagine. They're dropping Lemonade, the biggest album in the world, and you needed Tidal to hear it. I don't know how y'all was because I already had Tidal. I was paying this obnoxious ass fee, whatever it was, $13.99 or $15.99, whatever it was for the hi-fi definition and this, that, and the third, all this shit, all this fucking higher quality shit. You couldn't tell the difference. But end of the day, I was paying for that shit. But I can imagine the people that didn't have it, they was freaking out, going crazy, either signing up, because you could sign up a free, you could do it. I think they had a trial, so everybody signed up for this shit. Oh my God, they listened to it, whatever. And that's how they was retaining people, because they were trying to get, Spotify and Apple were massive. They were massive entities. But it was nobody black in there, according to Jay-Z. So he was going to do the black one, right? Mind you, he bought this shit from like wherever, Germany or something. The Tidal had already existed. Jay-Z went and bought the shit. Whole office full of white people. But at the end of the day, he sold it to us that this was just black shit that was coming out for the artist, da-da-da. So with the company focusing on, I don't know if it was Germany or not. I don't know where the shit was, but it wasn't here, okay? With the company focused on the artist-friendly platform. Initial deal, Jay-Z purchased the streaming service for $56 million in 2015, inviting superstar partner. See, he's smart. He's like, I can buy this shit, but it ain't gonna really float unless I get a whole bunch of faces from all walks and all genres of this music to come in and be partners in this so-called. So he sat there and thought about this shit one night at dinner. Was like, why he's making that mac and cheese for the baby. Remember he say, I'm feeding the kids liquid gold, right? That's the mac and cheese and shit, the Kraft mac and cheese. One night these motherfuckers said, you know what? Fuck that. I'm gonna make my own streaming service, right? They're like, you can't do that. Whole like, watch me. So he went out and got all these people and shit. And he gave him, apparently he bought $56 million. I'm sure he had investors, and he gave everybody 3%, right? 3% of the chip, which tells me he always planned to sell it. He's like, you get 3% equity. That means I'm going to sell this at some point, end of the day. But let me continue. So he invited superstars who receive equity instead of cash for their involvement. Value at sale. When Square, now Block, purchased the majority stake in Tidal for 2021 for approximately $297 million to $302 million, the initial artist partner stakes became highly valuable. Those specific payouts for each artist were not all publicly disclosed. The artist partners, the group of artists involved included Alicia Keys, Arcade Fire, Beyonce, Calvin Harris. Harris made some heat rocks, gang. This is an eclectic list. Like he wasn't just looking for no rappers, gang. I'm just gonna be honest. This is smart. This is smart. He had Chris Martin, Daft Punk, Damon Marley, Deadmau 5, J. Cole, Jack White, Madonna, Nicki Minaj, Rihanna, and others. This wasn't no slouch list. This is heavy hitters, gang. End of the day, right? Let me continue. Despite some public disputes from artists like Nicki Minaj regarding their specific smaller payouts during the 2021 sale, the artists initially received their equity as part of a partnership deal rather than a cash investment. So apparently he approached Drake and Drake said, nah. Right? You ain't getting nada. So Drake didn't do it. And therefore, this is where Akademiks, and rightfully so, because these big money people, when they approach you and you say no, gang, we not even going to see and act like they take that shit well. It's a lot of money on the line. He cooked up this whole thing, and he sat down and included you, which means he looked at you as a peer, right? And you told him no. He's like, what the fuck? And not only that, you went to Apple, the actual company that he's trying to take down. So imagine you tell him no, and then you go and sign a deal with Apple. That's a very, very plausible reason for me and you not to be cool no more. You might get a verse. But that means I'm still trying to keep things smooth as I try to, I might be trying to get you out of here actively. You know what I'm saying? That's how they looking at it. So end of the day, we can't say that it wasn't a problem when he told him no. It went to the competitor that your whole mission was to take down. And let's say he really believed this whole independent, we're trying to take down the machine. And that means he's going to look at you as you're pretty much, you're the enemy at this point. So there's a very plausible thing. Akademiks' little goofy ass might be onto something. This is a very plausible beef starter where this is a lot of money on the line. And he could be looking at it like, out of all them artists, you might have been the top 2 or 3 that he really needed. He might be looking at it like this. Tidal failed because of Drake. He could be saying, if he would have only came along, Tidal would have succeeded. Because it ultimately failed and he had to sell it. So you got to think, this is a very good, plausible start for a beef. Okay? Let me continue. As caught by Akademiks on Instagram, he posed that Jay's Kendrick, I already read that. He also brought up Nicki Minaj complaints about the Tidal deal, suggesting that Jay took all the money and that OVO mogul didn't want to jump on, preferring Apple's money. Per DJ Akademiks, this allegedly angered Hove, which then lined up with his support of Meek Mill during his Drizzy battle around this time. So what Akademiks is hypothesizing is that when this thing happened with Tidal and Apple and Drake and this, that, and the third, Hove lined up with Meek. Now, it sound crazy now in 2026 that Hove sided with Meek. I get it. Revisionist history, it's like, are you serious, Charles? You really think Hove sat there and thought Meek was going to beat? He thought, gang, it was a different time. Gang, 2015, it was a different time. Yeah, we had Twitter, but Meek Mill was a different animal, and everybody thought you don't mess with Meek out in these streets or out in these raps. So it was a very good association to say, let me line myself with Meek, and so he could take out this guy. Because you got to think, you can't take out another rapper without a rapper. You need a rapper to take out another rapper. Just how this rap shit work. You can't take him out no other way. There's no way to take a rapper out other than another rapper. So you get all this info. He's ghostwriting, this, that, and third, and you give it, and you allegedly, according to this theory, that Jay-Z, the dastardly Rock Nation lead, the mogul, right? He goes and gets this information to Meek, and guess what? Now Meek is out here fucking the muscles, So it's plausible that he did line with him. I'm right there. I'm right there. I'm listening to this shit. I'm like, yo, okay. Right? You know how the memes be like, when they put their hand on the guy, they stop the other guy, like, let him cook. All right, I'm going to let him cook. Right? End of the day, we don't really believe what Akademiks say, but sometimes his ass could stumble. A broken clock is right twice a day. Okay, let his ass cook. So I'm listening. I'm like, okay, Tidal, yeah, fucking Meek Mill. All right, now you making sense. Let's keep going. So end of the day, as such, Drake supposedly stopped messing with Jay-Z. Again, though, there are counter arguments here based on their collaborations. Again, I'm telling you right now, somebody could still keep a collaboration. There's a lot. You got to think it's a lot of moving parts in these industries. There's a lot of people that Jay may still want to keep the peace with, even if he got a funny feeling in his gut about this guy. right? He might be feeling his tummy rumbling about this guy, but this guy over here, this super mogul that's behind him, named Lucian Grange, and these other people, you might do it for them to keep yourself in good graces with them. So imagine you got all these multi-billionaires you're trying to rub elbows with and get these business deals done. There's a lot on the line behind the scenes. So just throwing this guy a verse will keep the grumblings down on them super yachts over there in the Mediterranean Ocean that's getting phone calls that Jay won't do a verse with their prodigy, right? You're like, what? What's going on? So maybe Jay did the verse to keep shit quiet behind the scenes. So it don't mean that he rock with you. He just threw you a verse to hush all these other guys that he really trying to do business with. So it's an animal. So don't get we think too small when these features. Right, we think mad small when about these features. Joe, he don't like them, so he won't do the feature. Well, it may be 10 other motherfuckers that he got allegiances to that he still would throw you the feature even though he don't like you. But let me continue, right? Charged Up. So Back Act also poised that Charged Up was actually a diss for Hov, not Meek. You know what? I'm gonna be honest. Charged Up is so innocuous. We just assigned it to Meek. I'm just gonna be honest. We assigned it to Meek. I'm just, in my opinion, it just felt like who else could it be? We assigned it to him. So I don't know. It could have been for Hov or Meek. Let me continue. Not Meek, as came later on Back to Back, according to the commentator, Drizzy might have felt that Jay sent Meek to battle him, which might be the focus of Charged Up. Akademiks then went on to break down the lyrics on this song, comparing those dynamics to the Six Guys beef with Pusha T and his shots at Kanye West. Just a whole lot of going on. And I'm going to tell you, gang, when you start to break down some of these songs where you thought the rap was aimed at this guy, and then a year later, some asshole or some really smart guy breaks down does a YouTube video breaking down the lyrics, and they all really point to the other guy. You're like, oh, how we missed this. It definitely was not about him. It was something just recently. I can't remember offhand. It was something just recently where the guy, maybe a week or two ago, he said that verse was not for who we thought it was for. It was for this guy. And then you listen to it again, and it lines up perfectly, right? And I used to clown Joe Budden. They're like when he used to say, "Yo, Drake was dissing him on that record. Was it Stay Scheming? One of them records, right?" He said them lines was for me. We was all laughing at him, and then we figured out a couple. Like it was a while later after he did all his dissing he did 4 diss records dissing Drake and this, that, and the third. Then you listen to it with fresh ears a couple months later, or maybe a year. And you're like, God damn, he was straight up dissing Joe Budden. You're like, Joe Budden ain't even rapping like that. Why would he diss him? But it matched up, it lined up. So this could literally be that was for Hov. And Hov is the lyricist. He's going to catch certain things, right? It is what it is. But let me continue. For those unaware, Michael Eric Dyson recently apologized for his Jay-Z revelation, saying that he shouldn't have spoken on a private conversation. As for Drake and Jay-Z's supposed tension, the most recent proof of this is that the latter enlisted K-Dot to perform at the Super Bowl. Now that, if nothing else burned, that's going to burn. That's irreparable damage, and that's going to be something that these two guys will never heal from. There will be no late night texts or calls, and if they are, they're gonna be hella like some fucking spy meet spy shit, trying to get information, trying to see what they can use against you, because this right here, ain't no way I'm coming back from this on either side. If I'm Jay, being you, it is what it is. I put your worst enemy on the stage to say the worst song about you in the last 15 years, the most damaging diss record ever, the guy that's eating off your name crazy because you decided you want to battle him and then you lost, and I put him on the Super Bowl for even another billion to see this motherfucker, and his record sales to go through the roof, and he do a worldwide tour in all stadiums and all caps. Fuck that. Like, we ain't never good. So, end of the day, and both sides is looking at this as this is the end of the game. So, right there, we ain't even got to discuss the Super Bowl because that's a wrap. Ain't gonna be no features. Ain't gonna be no Jay-Z on Iceman. And then again, if Jay-Z is on Iceman, guess who called her? It's Lucian Grange. Like, hi Jay, how's it going? Listen, could you do me a favor? Other than that, I don't see it. But things remain quite unclear and unconfirmed. They also have a long history of subliminals, hatchet burials, and everything is in between. Somebody need to do, maybe there is a video of all the, I'm sure they already, what's the dirt? One of these motherfuckers already got a video about Jay-Z and Drake, subliminals and all this, that, and the third. So, I told you, I checked out. I don't remember everything that happened and everything that was said. I'm sure it's heinous, right? I was the one that got reminded about Jay-Z and Lil Wayne shit. That's your lady money. That's baby money. All that shit. Like, oh shit, they was going at it too. So, at the end of the day, I forgot about all these subliminals. But all of this, I'm going to be honest, I didn't hear nothing that sound unplausible. It do sound like that Tidal thing started it. That goddamn Meek Mill shit kept it going, and that Super Bowl ended it. These dudes do not like each other whatsoever. I guarantee you, they're not coming to none of the kids' party. You won't see Drake at his, and you won't see him at Drake's, and they ain't nobody gonna be linking up arm in arm doing nothing. I don't see nothing happening unless these motherfuckers get super mature. Like him and Nas and squashing and shake hands and laugh, this, that, and the third, which I do not see because your boy don't seem like the type that be forgiving and forgetting. It seems like he right now he dancing alone by in himself in the freezer doing his Iceman shit. He ain't seem like he ain't made up with nobody. Nobody from the old days, nobody from around the way, right? It's all new niggas from the UK and everywhere else, right? Ain't no niggas that he been this shit with right now. So end of the day, I kind of say he on to something. Act on to something. And I'm going to have to give him a little bit of, like, you know what? You goofy than a motherfucker, but you might be right this time. These motherfuckers really been beefing since Tidal. It is what it is. Let me know what you think in the comments, man. CLBMG, head on over to black-yeti.com. Let them know who sent you. They ship all over the continental U.S. Also, every Wednesday night, we go live on the West Show, me, TJ, and Fliz. Tap in, get in the comments, let me know. Around 9:15, 9:30 on all 8 social media platforms. Go in my description, tap that Temu link. You shop at Temu already, lock in. I got ReStream down there. I also got a couple other links, lock in and support the channel. That new music video by me, TJ, and Fliz. We on some rapping. Rapping is off the What Project. That's on all streaming platforms, man. Get in there. Let me know what you think about that, man. I'm out of here, man. I'm going to catch y'all on that flip side. Peace.
Look, mission impossible to drop a few lines without dropping old times when Southern Hill was still a gold mine. When pistol grips was my shit and I sold mine. When Alias was not a show and they told mine.
Elevate your mind with high quality THC infused products. BlackYeti.com. Black-Yeti.com.
CLB.
Get my coat, get my sheepskin, grab my wallet, get my pocket knife, and get that hat right there. We out. Grab my pocket knife too. Let's go. When I first came to the city, niggas didn't believe me. I just wanted to join a team and throw assist pass easily. 6 man off the bench, alley-oop pass freely. Suit up for one game and hope a scout might see me. But nah, niggas is greedy, wasn't rocking with him. Unplugged the scoreboard and put a lock on the gym. Told me to power forward, point guard at the rim. And left me with no center and a ball full of phlegm. Not knowing that I'm a dog, a Rottweiler within. With the heart of a pit bull that don't bark for pretend. My bites cut deep, break the bone and the skin. With the level of hustlenomics you do not comprehend. So first I took a block down on the west side end, and then secured a spot with some goons and some kin. And then sent out some flyers, let the games begin. And in 6 months time, the city like that's him. Oh yeah, he the one that moved the hustle to the burbs. And yeah, he the one that knocked the hustlers off the curb. And yeah, he the one that set up shop without a word. And he the one that got it cracking. And all he did was rapping by the Hooters. I kept killers from being shooters. Put a mic in a thug's hand, now he loyal like past fans. Take a man off the streets past the needles and crack cans. Promise mama to keep him safe, then put some food in his face and he'll kill for you. But I don't need him for that. Click like, click share, tell them bitches we back. Share the whole location, tell them niggas where we at. Cause we out here, we ain't the cheese, we the trap.